Production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PL.LC. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Southern Bancorp. Southwest Sporting Goods. Taylor King and Associates. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Price and Company. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone. And Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County. This is the J.R. Eldridge Show with the head coach of the Arkadelphia Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Byrd.
Welcome back to another week of the J.R. Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Caleb Byrd. We're joined as always by Coach J.R. Eldridge. And Coach, we had a great week of football last Friday. The Badgers traveled up to Bauxite and got a big win over the Bauxite Miners, who were tied for first place in the conference, 42-7, the final score.
Yeah, it was a huge win for us. Really excited about the way our football team played. Can't say enough about our coaching staff, who does a great job every single week in preparation for every game. Just so thankful that we have a great group of coaches and great group of players. Really just guys that come out and get after it every day in practice, and really showed up in the game on Friday night. First half we were a little bit slow getting started, had two really good drives. And then toward the end of the second quarter, they were able to get a drive on us. But in the second half, we were able to cut out the penalties, put on more steam, and really dominated the second half.
Yeah, and Coach, you have to be proud of the way your team overcame that first half adversity, in which you had 11 penalties in the first half, managed to take a lead in the halftime, and then fix all that in the second half.
Yeah, that was what was really good. Despite all the penalties, despite several things that happened in that first half, we were able to go in, make a couple of adjustments offensively and defensively, and then be able to come back out and really execute in every phase of the game. Still had some penalties that we've got to cut out on our punt return unit and on our special teams, but second half was really, really good in all three phases.
Yeah. All right, Coach. It was a great game, so let's check out the highlights. First play of the game, Bauxite likes to onside kick. They're going to kick it deep, though. Good job by, I believe that's Bailey, to return this kick all the way to midfield.
Yeah, we talked about it all week. We figured we would get a more orthodox onside kick, but Kyron did a great job of running back to field the ball, and then Bailey was able to come up and field the ball, and we're able to get a good return right there. Still, again, we had a penalty on that that pulled us back to where we had to start, on the -30 there.
Yeah, some penalties early on. That first play, you saw a penalty as well. Badgers overcome it for a first down right here, and pretty good drive going. Cannon Turner came back at quarterback. That was big for your team.
Yeah, it was really big. He did a great job first game back. Just thought he executed our offense really, really well. He was our offensive player of the game. He was 7 of 12 for 155 yards passing, had about 90 yards rushing, and had a touchdown throwing the ball and running the ball.
Yeah, it really adds a lot to the offense to have Thomas back there at wide receiver, a lot of dynamic playmakers. Here's Staten Witten making another good catch. He's really come on. He has some really sure hands at the receiver position.
He really does. He catches everything that's thrown to him. Cannon did a great job putting that ball right on him. Kai had a good run earlier, and then a good catch earlier to convert on a third down, and then Kai's able to put it in the box right there. Huge first drive for us.
The past 2 weeks, Coach, your team's really taken to throwing the ball a bit more than they had previously. Is that something we might see moving forward, so some more passing from the Badgers?
Well, for us, really we're going to continue to run the football, but but when we feel like we can take some shots and be able to work off of our run game into our passing game, we'll definitely continue to try to take those shots.
There's this run-heavy offense from Bauxite. Arkadelphia does a good job covering. Here's a pass play, but a great job from Kyron Harrison to break it up.
It really was a good job. You know, our defense, we held them to their lowest yardage total. We held them to their lowest point total. Defensively, I can't say enough about our defensive coaching staff. Coach Kaiser, Coach Chandler, Coach Wilson do a great job putting together game plans in our defense, just flying to the football and making plays.
And that punt return from Kyron Harrison, he slipped and hit the ground, but just a moment earlier, he had a long punt return that was called back for a penalty, just one of the many penalties that really hurt the Badgers in this game. Here, Arkadelphia is continuing to drive. Cannon Turner going to roll out of the pocket, get a throw away, and he has a wide open receiver downfield.
Yeah, this was a great job extending the play by Cannon, and then really Buster finding open grass, able to get it to him right there. It's huge play right there.
And here's Bailey with a good run down inside the 10-yard line. He's been doing a really good job lately and taking more of a role at the running back position as a sophomore.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and you know, we're going to continue to try to use him more. He's got some great acceleration, does a great job for us. You know, especially when Kyron needs a break, since Kyron's playing so much. I mean, he's making plays offensively, defensively for us, and on special teams. You know, really excited about the way Bailey's been playing.
There's the kickoff, tackled about the 26-yard line. Arkadelphia did a great job on special teams all night long.
Yeah, Ethan Savage was our special teams player of the week this week. He did a great job kicking the ball. He was 6 for 6 on PATs, and then just did an outstanding job on our kickoffs. Had 2 touchbacks, and then had a domination block on our punt return.
Majority of these running plays for Bauxite, if they handed it off to one of the tailbacks, stopped them for a short game, but the quarterback caused y'all a little bit of trouble when he took the ball for himself.
Yeah, that quarterback, he's pretty good, and you know, it's just a tough offense to face. You know, they dive, and then they try to hit one outside or a little misdirection with that quarterback. You know, but really our defense did a good job of containing that quarterback and not letting them have chunk yardage plays.
Moving into the second quarter, Arkadelphia gets stopped for the first time tonight, and Bauxite's offense comes back out here. They're getting some passing plays going. This wide receiver, number 6 for Bauxite, a really good wide receiver, but I think it was Witherspoon that did a really good job blocking him down all night.
Witherspoon did an excellent job. You know, really the only catches that number 6 had were on either hitches or comebacks right there. You know, Witherspoon did an excellent job covering that deep ball all night long.
Here's the quarterback able to get in the end zone. It looks like Jason Campbell is going to be able to tackle him around the line of scrimmage, but just slipped down, not able to bring him to the ground.
Yeah, Campbell missed that tackle. Really close on making that play. We've got to do a better job with our eyes at the linebacker spot right there, seeing those pullers and being able to retrace and get to the right spot. You know, but only drive that they scored on, really good by our defense.
Really good run here by Thomas, but at the very end of the run, there's a flag for holding, and that's going to bring the ball back 10 yards and really kind of put a dent in this offensive drive.
Yeah, one of the things that we're going to talk about all week in practice is staying inside the frame of the defender when we're blocking them, staying inside the frame, and then being able to let him go and rip shield once the guy's getting off a block.
Here's another great defensive play from Witherspoon.
That was a huge play right here. Did a great job covering him up, and then really stripping the ball out once the receiver was trying to make a play on the football.
Yeah, forcing a punt out of Bauxite once again. They had some momentum after making that stop, and they had a chance to tie the game on that drive. Arkadelphia defense did a good job coming up, stopping them short. Buster Thomas with a good catch. Cannon Turner continuing to throw the football well. He's going to roll out here, try to get a ball into the sideline, just can't make that catch.
Yeah, we're really close. A couple times on this, we were trying to hurry up right here. And, you know, we're really close to being able to convert a couple times. We just had some missed protections. and then weren't able to get it downfield and keep the drive going.
Going into the second half here, Arkadelphia took a 14-7 lead into halftime, but in the second half, Bauxite gets the ball first. This is a big opportunity. The game could have been really different if Bauxite had scored on this drive.
Yeah, I agree. Our defense really stepped up right here. We were able to get the stop, and then we just continue to put on more steam and really start working together. Offense, defense, and special teams. Defense starts it off right here by getting a stop. So we're able to get the ball back, and really our defense just continues. This could have been a big play had we not had Bledsoe playing the pitch man. Did a great job playing the pitch man, and then we get pressure when they try to go to their spread look, and we're able to keep them from converting.
Guy who really impressed me on defense in this game was Cole Turner. He did a really nice job from middle linebacker.
He really did. He was our defensive player of the week. He had 7 unassisted tackles, 2 assists, 1 TFL, and a sack. Had a huge game on defense. It's kind of a Witherspoon and Cole really did a great job defensively, and we're trying to figure out who deserved the player of the game more. Cole made some excellent plays.
Here's a long pass up the middle to Buster Thomas on the next Arkadelphia offensive possession. Gets Arkadelphia inside the 10-yard line, and then Kyron just able to kind of walk in the end zone.
Yeah, it's a great job by our offense, just really starting off fast in the second half and being able to drive it right down. And the more we're able to do this, to work together on defense, offense, and special teams, the more everything kind of steamrolls, and I felt like that happened in this second half, which was huge for our football team.
That was a big momentum shift going up 21-14. Here's another great tackle by Cole Turner in the open field, just going to stop him up, let the rest of his teammates come in and finish it off. Arkadelphia did a great job flocking to the football, making those gang tackles all night long.
Yeah, I agree. Just really good defensive effort. And then right here, this was really good. I thought we were going to block this punt. We're so close by Bledsoe right there, but have great field position. So again, defense, special teams, and offense working together. We've got that great field position. Get a good block by Cannon, then a great run by Kai, and we're able to put it in the box again.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that formation we just saw. You had Cannon Turner, Buster Thomas, and Kyron Harrison all in the backfield. That's scary for an opposing defense.
Yeah, we love this formation. Gets all of our, all 3 of those playmakers in the backfield at the same time. Put Buster at quarterback, and then Cannon and Kai both at running backs, and it's tough to stop all 3 of them. So we feel like that's a great formation for us.
All right, that could be a pretty electric formation in the future. You get in the playoffs, that gives the opposing coaches a lot to think about.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, offense comes back out here. Cannon Turner, nice run off the right side, breaking some tackles, able to get a first down. He never stops driving his feet on those runs. He's able to stay low to the ground and keep his balance.
Yeah, he did a great job running the football Friday night. This is an excellent run by Kyron. Really, I thought he was in right there. Touches the pylon, crosses the plane with the football, able to punch it in on the next play.
Barely considered out of bounds, but Kyron does get the 6 points. Now Arkadelphia is up 35-7, really extending the lead here, and defense just continuing to put in work, doing a good job here, stopping this run game. But for Bauxite, it was kind of hard for them to come back. Once they got down with this kind of offense they're running, it's kind of hard for them to make a comeback. Yeah,
it really is, and that's a credit to our defense because, really when they're trying to move the ball in their pro T and their dead T formations right there, they're taking as much clock as they can. We had already shown them that if they got in their spread look, we'd be able to stop that as well. So they had to stay in their dead T and work off the play action passes. So huge by our defense to be able to just kind of put together a complete game plan and really stop everything that they were trying to do.
That was a great, just a moment ago, open field tackle from Jason Campbell that stops the Bauxite defense, and then Cannon Turner dives into the end zone. he gets his touchdown he was looking for coming back from injury, and Arkadelphia puts the good sportsmanship rule in play.
Yeah, this was huge, and we talked to Savage about this too. We were 6 for 6 on PATs, so we didn't have to try to get a 2-point conversion to get that mercy rule. It just worked out because we hit all of our PATs, so that was huge for us. Did a great job, again, offensively, defensively, and on special teams.
These second-team defenders are coming in. They're playing against this. This is still, I believe, the first-team offense from Bauxite. They're doing a good job stopping them. They're not really able to pass the ball too well, not able to get in the end zone even.
Yeah, this was huge. I mean, I feel like our second-team defense has really stepped up. We've been able to keep the last 2 opponents out of the box when we've gotten into the mercy rule, and that says something about their development as football players and how they're playing the game. Everybody getting to the football, everybody knowing and understanding what their job is and executing their role. So that was huge for us to be able to keep them out of the end zone toward the end of the game.
Yeah, and so it was just an all-around complete performance there from the entire team. Is there anything you saw in the game that you think you really need to improve going forward?
Well, we've got to cut out the penalties. We got a lot of holding calls. We got to be better about blocking inside the frame, and then when somebody's getting off of a block, we've got to be able to rip shield, to keep that defender from getting to the ball. So we've got to do better there, and then we've got to make sure that that we're lined up correctly offensively, and that we know when we're on and off the line. And then even when an opponent is trying to simulate our snap count, which is against the rules, we practice that in practice. We've got to hear the voice of our quarterback and make sure that we're going on his go, not somebody else's.
All right, so we talked a minute earlier about Cole Turner. He did a great job at middle linebacker. How big is it to have a guy like Cole back there, a senior? I know he's a really smart guy. He's a member of the state champion Quiz Bowl team. How big is it to have a guy there at middle linebacker who's able to kind of control the defense when you're facing such a complex offense like Bauxite had?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, Cole's done a great job for us every year that he's been playing, but specifically this year with so much experience and playing against this type of offense so many times. He's able to add a whole nother element to our defense to where he's able to help guys out, get lined up, and make sure that we're in the right call at the right time. So really proud of the way that he's been playing. Think this is his second time being the Defensive Player of the Week. So really excited about what he's doing for our defense.
And then his cousin Cannon at quarterback, it seemed like he was really adding a big calming presence to the offense.
Yeah, offensively, I felt like we really executed well. And Cannon started so many games for us. We're up near 50 games for him to be a starter from the time he was in 9th grade till his senior year right now. So again, that experience that's really irreplaceable for a football player, and allowing that experience to help him make decisions during the game as a quarterback. It's huge for our offense. It's huge for our entire football team, really.
And then having him back, we touched on it earlier, you're putting in some new formations with Buster, Cannon, and Kyron all in the backfield. That opens up a wealth of possibilities because now Buster Thomas, he has some experience playing quarterback at this varsity level. He did a really nice job playing quarterback. So can you talk a little bit about how you're going to use this offensive versatility you have now?
Well, I think we were able to see it, especially in this Bauxite game where, number one, Buster had, I think, over 100 yards receiving. We were able to get him the ball in open space. He also does a great job on our jet sweeps. So I think having 3 to 5 guys out there that you really have to defend makes a huge difference. A lot of people talk about balance on offense being run pass balance. That's really, if you're just running with one guy, it's really no balance at all anyway. But now if you have 3 guys that can run the football, it's much harder to stop. So balance to us really is being able to distribute the ball to different people. That way, a defensive coordinator or a defense has to, they've got to be aware of everybody in our personnel grouping when we're out there on offense. So I think that that's a huge deal for us, and we'll continue to use these packages that we've shown and continue to try to distribute the ball all over the field so that the defense can't just hone in on one or two people.
And then let's touch on this offensive line that's been so critical to moving the football, both in the passing game and the running game. I feel like a lot of people watching the game, they're just watching those running backs. They're just watching Kyron or Cannon or Buster. They're not paying attention to the offensive line, but they've been doing a great job.
Oh, yeah, our offensive line, I can't say enough about those guys. Number one, the experience level that they have from playing so many games last year to playing these games this year. London Cotton, Matthew Parnham, Lorenzo Lawson, Terrell Sumler, Cab Batson, Jaden Quarles. All those guys have really done a great job for us up to this point this year, and it's as evidenced by how many total rushing yards we've got on the season. And then I think we were able to rush for close to 300 yards this past week. We've been over 300 several weeks this year in football games. So, that says a lot about their offensive line coach, Coach Matlock, and it says a lot about their ability to take coaching and their ability to play violently out there on the football field. So really excited about those guys.
All right, Coach, so it was a great performance all around this past week, all aspects of the game doing really well. And so let's take a look and move on to next week. We have the scores from around the conference. All the teams you'd expect to win won. So that takes us to conference standings are looking a bit, tight there at the top of the conference. A three-way tie for first place. Bauxite still in play there, 4-2 record, and sitting there at fourth place. But then looking forward to next week, Arkadelphia has got a big game coming up. It's a rivalry game against Malvern. It's a big game for everyone here in the community, and now it's a trophy game as well. So talk a little bit about what this Malvern game is going to mean to your team.
Well, I think, the Malvern-Arkadelphia game has always been something that people look forward to. For us, we've got to take care of our business and continue to, we try to talk about having a faceless opponent, making sure that it's not about who you play, it's about how you play and all that. But at the same time, Malvern's right down the road, and it's always been a huge rivalry between Arkadelphia and Malvern, and now we've got a belt that goes along with it, the Ouachita Rumble. And so what we've got to do is we've just got to have another great week of practice. We've got to focus on being able to do the little things right, correcting our mistakes on our holding penalties, on our snap infractions, on our false starts. We just got to do a better job in practice this week of making sure all of those things are cleaned up to be at our best against Malvern and moving on. We want to be on an upward swing as we go into playoffs, so we've got to play our best football this week and continue to play our best football as we move forward.
Right, and your team's the last 2 years, Arkadelphia has scored over 60 points against Malvern. It's not been a terribly close game for 2 years in a row now. And so this year, Malvern is a lot better of a football team. They've won 3 games in the conference this year. They've looked good, moved the ball well. They got a really young team that I'm sure has gotten better as the year has gone on. And so talk a little bit about how Malvern's going to line up, what we're going to see from them, some of their star players we might see.
Yeah, Malvern, they're much improved. They're much better than they were last year or the year before. Defensively, they look a lot like we do as far as running a 4-3 multiple defense. And in coverage, they're a little bit different than us, but as far as their base alignments, they're going to look very similar defensively. Offensively, they're going to look very similar. They go from a 10 personnel look to a 21 personnel look to a 20 personnel look. So very, very similar to what we do offensively. But the bottom line for us is we've got to continue, and really they've got their players playing hard. They're playing very hard, and we've got to do a great job of making sure that we're doing what we're capable of and playing as hard as we can every single snap. And I just look forward to having a great week of practice in preparation for Malvern.
And then finally, this game is senior night for Arkadelphia. So could you speak for a minute about what this senior class, the class of 2020, means to this football program?
Well, I think means a ton. You know, these guys have played 30 games in the last 2 years as sophomores and juniors. You know, these guys have just done so much for our football program. Kind of help put us over the hump, if you will, we've just got to continue to use that energy that they've brought to the table for the past 2 years, and continue to have good practices, continue to have great energy, effort, and focus in practice. And you know, they've got experience in these playoff situations as we move toward the playoffs and as we go into a huge rivalry game. You know, so I'm excited about seeing them continue to do the things that they know got them to this point. So really excited about our senior class. Can't wait to be out there with them again on senior night.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. We have a big game Friday night at Badger Stadium, 7 p.m. against Malvern. It's a rivalry game. It's senior night, and the Badgers still have a shot at winning the 7-4A conference. They need a big win over Malvern, need some help probably from Bauxite, but Arkadelphia has still got a great opportunity to do it. So it's going to be a really exciting night on Friday. We hope that you'll come out, support the Badgers, and then tune back in next week for more of the J.R. Eldridge Show. We'll see you then.
Sponsors of the J.R. Eldridge Show include Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Price and Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone, Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County, Turner and Turner, Attorneys at Law, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance, and Southern Bancorp. The J.R. Eldridge Show is produced each week by the Rogers Department of Communication at Ouachita Baptist University.